I'm going to share a story with you. And this is something not just for correctional leaders, but also for inmates as well. I worked as a CO about 20, it's over 20 years ago now, at the MCC Chicago. I got hired on with a number of young people my age. We were all pretty young. And many of them were military veterans. One of them was an Iraqi war veteran, like 3 tours, military police. The kid was sharp, and he was headed somewhere. He's headed in the right direction. I like that young man, as far as how he thought and how professional he was. Something I noticed right away, and this happens in all jails. All jails, it's unfortunate, and specifically jails here in the US, racism. And it's a different type of racism. It's weaponized racism. So because he was a young white man, I think he was a first generation Polish descendant, but he was a Chicagoan. He was, you know, raised in the neighborhoods that I was raised in, as well as anybody else from Chicago. But the black employees inside that program and at that place could not stand to see him be potential leadership material. So they started messing with him. They were screwing with him left and right. They were doing all kinds of stuff to him. And he was repelling it. And he was already starting to tell me in confidence that he was looking for another job because he couldn't believe how unprofessional the place was. They called MCC Chicago the Big Cheese because it looks like a big cheese and there's a lot of rats in it. And it's not just inmates. Um, that's what they call it. Uh, this young man got caught up in a situation. He was working a female housing unit. He was in front of the camera at all times. And I don't know how or what, but these correction officers managed to get a female inmate to go up and try to hug this correction officer. He immediately pushed her away, said, no, that's not, don't do that. But where he went wrong is he didn't report it. And they got him. They got him. They walked him out. And I saw what was going on, and there's a lot of stupid racism things that go on, especially in the Bureau of Prisons, but in all prisons, in all detention programs. Um, I brought that story up to a young man that I came across later on in my career, and he actually knew he worked at the MDC or MCC in New York, and he knew some of those people in the MCC Chicago that had a history of doing these things, to include the person in charge of the investigations branch. And what he called it, this is not coming from me. He called it the Big Booty Mama Club. And I was like, well, dude, where are you coming with this? What are you talking about? And he was talking about how black women in a lot of these MCCs and these inner cities are like gods when it comes to running the jail facility. And if they don't like somebody, they will ruin that person's life, their career. And nobody can do anything about it because they're very protected. And so when we look at all this demographics and politics and Republicans and Democrats, and we filter it down to something as simple as running a jail, you're like, what the hell? Why is this even happening? The jail should be a sacred place. It should. It should not be as sacred as a church, but it should be sacred to where nothing can touch it. So then that way, our justice process can run safely and efficiently to provide the fruits of what the American people want, of our investment in justice. But it's not true. That's not true. That's not what happens. That's not what happens. I mean, if it was such a good place, if they were doing such a great job, then why even right now today in this year people are questioning if this Jeffrey Epstein guy was murdered in a Bureau of Prisons facility in New York? Why? What's going on? Why is this Ghislaine Maxwell being moved from what she's classified for as far as her security classification based on her sentencing guidelines to a place that's not consistent with her guidelines? Why is that happening? Because, friends, the system is broken. It is. And it has been for a while. And this system eats, chews, and poops good quality people out every day. Every day. And you know what? One thing I'm proud of as a supervisor and hadn't been a correctional administrator and a warden is that I made every effort to deal with those groups. I didn't have a name for them like what that former CO from, or now he was a special agent, but he used to be a CO at the MCC or MDC in New York. I didn't have a name for them, but I knew that those groups existed, and I identified those groups, and I let my superiors know about those groups. What I didn't know is my superiors sponsored those groups. I didn't know that. It's great to learn, and that's how you grow as a leader. You confront these issues, be authentic, and say, hey, you know what? This thing you're creating is cancer, not only for our organization, but for our profession, but for our industry. These little groups that you're creating, these little cliques. Why are you so focused on security threat groups with inmates and inmate gangs when your staff and you are doing the same thing? Knock it off. Stop it. End it. I'm telling you right now. Because eventually, soon enough, with this new AI and all this new technology, you'll be founded out. And in some instances, you're going to go to a jail as well because your group got out of hand and started doing stupid things. I don't care about the race card because ultimately at the end, I have been around a lot of great people from a whole like the list of diverse backgrounds that I've been around. I've been around Filipino rednecks. That's what a friend of mine, he called himself a Filipino. I've been around Chinese black people. I've been around everybody. And you know what? Where I get to say actually something about somebody is their character and how we communicate. That's where I gain that respect. Not based on their skin color or if they're a part of a certain culture or group. No. Remember this, before 9/11, literally, before 9/11, I was in training with people from the Saudi Arabia, right? In Marine Corps training. I was in Marine Corps training with people from Saudi Arabia, like literally weeks or months, about a month or 2 months before 9/11. Probably like 2 or 3 months. And those gentlemen, those guys that were in my training with me, that were Saudi Arabia Army or whatever they were. Oh, the Guard. They were of the Guard or something like that. They were awesome. They were great people. I enjoyed communicating with them, sharing stories, and I thought they were awesome. I really thought highly of them. So there's no way I could say something like negative about them because there is no proof. And so this is where I'm going to with this. These cliques, these cultures, these politics have no place in your jail or your detention program. And you, if you're a leader or you're a selected leader, you're in a position where people look up to you, you need to let them know, put that right out there and say, hey, you know what? There's no space for that. There is no space for negativity and these groups of people that think they are superior to other people. That's where we get these cliques. That's where this culture of gangs in prisons comes from. It's not just the inmates. It's correctional people, correctional staff, COs. Okay? Who's tougher than who? Nobody's winning. Nobody's winning. Okay? We gotta make prisons, detention centers, jails a safe place. We need to make it a place that is holy as it pertains to our judicial process, where people, the justice system, judges, attorneys can access it, and people that are under scrutiny going through a justice process have the resources they need to go through the process. And if they require rehabilitation based on their conviction or whatever it may be, that those services be provided without any friction, any issues, any politics. We got to stop it. My thoughts. Please share your thoughts with me. I'm looking forward to somebody calling me out on this one. Talk to you soon.